Hey guys, welcome to my brand new channel. I just want to kick things off today, sharing with you a little bit about the project I got going on right now. This is one of the biggest ones I've ever done, probably ever will do. I'm going to be machining this 32nd scale 1980 Kenworth K100 cab over from almost completely aluminum. All of this model has been completely custom designed. I did all the design work myself. Went around measuring real trucks, real trailers, looking online for specs of different parts and wheel sizes, cab dimensions, things like that. So in this video, I just want to share with you guys a look at the CAD for this thing and how the model goes together. I've got some other equipment that's going to be coming soon, so hopefully I will be able to post more videos showing you the parts I've already made for this project and some of the assemblies I'm working on now. And then as I continue to pick away at this thing a little bit at a time, I'll keep posting more videos of the machining, showing you guys how I'm making this stuff and putting it together. I think it's going to be a really fun project. I'm super excited for it. Can't wait to see how it turns out. And I've never seen anything done like this online before. So I just wanted to find some way to document this thing and just share it with you guys. So hopefully you enjoy. So just a little bit of background about this model. This is going to be, like I said, the 1980 K100. And before they went to the K100E, the biggest model they had was a 108-inch BBC, and that's bumper to back of cab. So that model was 108 inches from here to the back. So this one right here, this is a 32nd scale model. So everything's been scaled down and designed for that. This is going to be a 53-foot Great Dane dry van, stainless steel sides. It's going to have that spread axle tandems on it, and then I put this 1999 Thermo King reefer on there. So the parts that I've already made, I've already done all of the wheels, the steer wheels, and then all the duals and everything for those assemblies. I've done the light bar, which I'll show you in a second here, the rear fenders on the tractor. I've done the sides and the top of the trailer, and the front of the trailer as well. That's pretty much all I've got done. I also built the case for this thing. That was all machined from aluminum and plexiglass too. So that's coming along pretty well, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys that in the next video. So I'll show you some of the parts on this thing. I don't have time to go through all of them, but I'll just try to keep it kind of brief. If you're not familiar with engineering, all of these parts, I'll just kind of explain to you what DFM is. DFM is designed for manufacturing. And because I have access to only a CNC vertical mill, I have to keep the process that I'm using to design these things in mind. I don't have access to a lathe, so for like the round parts, all those things were milled on the vertical mill. The stacks are going to be done on a vertical mill. So you kind of have to break things up and design them in a way that you can minimize your setups and keep the run time down as low as you can so that you can crank the stuff out faster. So these fenders that I made, the way I did these was I'd set it up in a vise, mill away all this material on the inside and the outside to make the profile of the fender. Take all the material off the top here except for this little boss right there. You leave that on there, and then you flip it over, make some soft jaws for it so that you can clamp it real tight and it fits perfectly to the profile there. And then take an end mill, deck off all this material, mill these radii in here on the surface to give it just a nice finished rounded look. And then the third setup would just be to put it back in there and then pop this little hole in. Now I know some guys who like these classic models are, usually real diehards. They don't like a lot of this newer fiberglass fender look on those old cab overs. Personally, to be honest, I don't care for it so much on the cab overs either. On some of the newer ones, I think it looks kind of cool. But this thing is kind of meant to be like a show truck, so I thought it'd be fine for this. And the one benefit of using those fiberglass fenders I found was that it's very easy to hide all of the fasteners and stuff, because like I said, all these parts are being designed with DFM in mind. So you want it to be easily manufacturable. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfectly looking like the real thing. It just has to be functional. And anything that you can hide underneath these fenders and stuff like that, I chose to hide. So all of these little fasteners here, like these screws, things that are holding these parts together, you're not going to see any of that when this thing's sitting in a case up on a shelf. All you're going to see is what you see here. So I just kind of found that was the best way to give it a nice clean finished look. So most of the fasteners I'm going to be using on this thing are like M3 by 0.5 socket head cap screws and countersunk screws. These ones here are probably going to be M4s for the spread axle tandem assembly here. And the reason I went with the countersinks on that is that you can locate fairly accurately with the countersink. It's not going to be as accurate as all these milled components when they're put together, but for something that's just sitting there on the bottom of the trailer, countersink screw on a machine part is going to be pretty accurate for locating stuff. So the next part I'd like to show you is this little light bar right here. Now this is kind of an interesting piece, and this was the best way I could come up with to make this thing come up out of the roof. And the reason I made the piece this way is that I'm planning to cut this cab in 3 chunks. I've got material at home to mill these. I've got enough to make this whole section from the bottom up to the windshield with one piece. The windshield and the windows there is probably going to wrap all the way around as another piece, and then from the bottom of the visor up to the top of the cab, that's going to be the 3rd piece. So my plan is to, when I machine these, put fasteners in there, mill them so that they fit real close together, screw them all together, and then do all the finish milling on all these faces in the vices and stuff like that at the end, so that you can get a near perfect blend with those surfaces, and you're not even going to see those little lines or joints in the material there when it's all put together and it's painted. So that's kind of how that works. And then if you look in here, there's a little pocket that was designed in this piece for that light bar, so that when you put this piece right on top there on the cab and you screw all those together, that thing will just sit right in there, and those clearance lights are going to pop right up out of those slots. Just like that. So I'll show you one of the other pieces I'm working on right now. I'll probably be doing this one fairly soon. It's just the back, the doors for the trailer, and that little underride bar there. So this thing is just going to fit real close between the sides of the trailer. So those sides will butt right up to this surface here. It'll be screwed down to the bottom. There's also going to be holes there for these little brackets I put inside the trailer there. I made those already, and those are going to be screwed into this face when I add those holes to that. So all these radii on this thing are like 40 thousandths, so that you can get in there with a 60 thousandths end mill. That's about as small as I want to go, because you can just you can rough out all that material with something a little bit beefier, a little bigger, and then you can just run your finish passes on the walls with a little 60 thou end mill. And anything you go with smaller than that is really more time consuming than I want it to be, and that's plenty close to get good looking corners and stuff in this. So that is pretty much the rundown of the CAD for it. There's a lot more parts to it, but I'm not going to get into that much detail on this for the first video. So if you guys would like, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be posting more videos of the machining and stuff, which I think is going to be the more fun thing to get into in the near future. And so yeah, that's pretty much the rundown on this project, and I will be coming out with more soon. Thanks for watching.